Besson? Besson? Luc Besson? I'm terrible with names. And I'm a teacher. A 1, 2, 3, 4! Leon. Hey everyone, welcome back to Mr. Teach Film Preach. Today we are talking about the film Leon the Professional. And in some cases it's just known as The Professional. It's not even known as Leon the Professional. And in other cases it's just known as Leon. So to me this movie is called Leon the Professional. In just some countries they don't add in the second part or the first part. Whatever. Leon the Professional is a film about Matilda, who's a young girl whose family is brutally murdered by a corrupt DEA agent and his goonies or other agents. And she basically is the only one who survives and is taken in reluctantly by her neighbor, Leon the Professional. He is a professional hitman. He is a international regarded hitman. He's killed a lot of people. He's been very successful in his assignment. He drinks a lot of milk. He loves his milk. Basically, he takes her in, and then eventually there is a bond that's formed. He teaches her kind of the tricks of the trade, begins to teach her how to become like an assassin, a professional, so to speak. And that's basically the film. There's a crazy DEA agent played by the amazing Gary Oldman, one of my favorite roles that he's done. And I think every time I review a movie of his, I'm like, this is one of my favorite roles of Gary Oldman. And he's a brilliant actor. He truly is.
What do you mean, everyone?
Everyone! The fact that he only won an Oscar like 2 years ago or whenever The Darkest Hour was, that is crazy. I cannot believe he hasn't won an Oscar until like very recently. He is amazing in this role, as is the film. Also stars Natalie Portman as the young girl, as Matilda. Jean Reno, he plays Leon the Professional, and those are sort of the main characters of our story. So this film is crazy. Like, okay, first of all, it's directed by French filmmaker. I think how you say his name is Luc Besson. He directed like The Fifth Element, Nikita Femme, Valerian and the Thousand Planets, and other films. He's done lots of other stuff, but those are kind of the ones that really stick out for me. He is a strange filmmaker. He has some really interesting takes on how to show action when he does some slow-mo things a lot of the times, and in all his films, he uses it in The Fifth Element. Again, another Gary Oldman performance in that as the villain. So obviously he likes Gary Oldman, rightfully so. Take on like action and how that plays into storytelling. He is a visual director, but he also is a very romantic director, and he looks for romance in strange things. He has an obsession with love and sexuality, and you can see it's kind of woven all throughout his films. He's provocative in that way, and I guess to like North American standards, like I think Europeans don't think his work is very risque, and maybe some other people don't, especially the way that women are portrayed or like shown as very sexual and very weaponized in that way, and a lot of times, like in The Fifth Element. Even weirder in this movie with Natalie Portman, because she's like supposed to be 11 or something, or 12 in this movie. That's the weird part of this film. Okay, I'm gonna put the weird part out there first and say that is probably the strangest thing about this movie. And there's this awkward relationship between Leon and Matilda, and you could tell that the director was trying to make it almost like father and daughter, but also like a play husband and wife, like playing house sort of thing. And it comes across really strange at times. I was watching this movie with my wife, and she kept looking over me like, this is kind of weird. I'm like, yeah, I know. Like, it is. It's the one thing about the film that I always was like, interesting choice. Not maybe the way I would have done it, but that's okay. This isn't my work. Besides that, this film is really good. It's actually a great movie. It's so well done. And a lot of this movie is taking place in the same location. It's basically pretty much all within Leon's like apartment building. It's all taking place in the lobby and the hallways in his apartment. There's a few scenes outside, and he goes to see Tony and stuff like that at his restaurant. Besides that, though, most of this movie is taking place almost in one location, and it's enchanting, it's enthralling, and it's really great that this director is able to pull that off, really pull in our attention for those almost 2 hours, or hour and 40 minutes or so. That's difficult to do with a film, even if it's about hitmen and corrupt DEA agents. Besides that, like, you have to do a lot and be a very good storyteller in order to capture our attention. For me, at least, it's very good that way. I don't think a lot of films do that. If you look at Mission Impossible, if you look at Die Hard, if you look at Die Hard's a bad example. Sorry, the first Die Hard, because that is all within the building. Bad. So if you look at like films like James Bond or Mission Impossible, like those action movies rely on location a lot of the times. You know, that's a part of the appeal of the film. I shouldn't say it relies on. Part of the appeal of the film is like they go to Paris and England and Morocco and wherever else. They go all over the world. Another one is like the Bourne series, right? But this film, as an international hitman, that it's kind of like a sort of a spy crime grimy film to it. It's done well. It's kind of got that feel. It's like almost like an indie film. It has a very almost an indie film sort of feel. This does not seem like a blockbuster film. It is really interesting to watch. It's well done. The relationship between Matilda and Léon is very weird at times, yes, but it's also very sweet at times too. Father-daughter or protege and mentor, you know, mentee, and that sort of relationship is a really cool movie. Gary Oldman, when he does does the coke, or I don't even know if it's coke, I assume it is, but it's some sort of version or like morphed up version of it, and he does this like, ugh, and the way he like twists his body and moves is so creepy. So creepy. Ew, like he's like a snake almost. It's almost like what's his face in Harry Potter? Ralph Fiennes as Voldemort. He kind of does that neck twitch thing. Same as like Gary Oldman. A crazy great performance, a wonderful character, real despicable, vile sort of character as well. You hate him right from the start. I mean, he kills kids, he kills women, children, innocent people, criminals, other police officers. You know, he's a murderer. What's really cool in this movie is to see like that man in comparison to like Léon, who yes, he is a killer, and yes, he is a hitman. He's not a good person, but he actually is very caring. He's very tender. He's very loving. He actually is a human. He has a heart, and he sacrifices everything to help out this girl, and like that shows he really is a hero in the end. I think this movie has a great redemption story with Léon. He's done all these crazy things, and he starts to feel a little bit of emptiness in his life, and that's when Matilda drops into his apartment, literally. I love that scene where she's like knocking on the door, like, please let me in.
Find her.
Please open the door. Please.
He's standing behind the door with the gun, and he's like, what do I do? Like, basically, if I invite her in, I'm inviting in all that trouble. There's some really great moments of tension and drama and wonderful dialogue and some great scenes where like Gary Oldman in the bathroom with Natalie Portman. That's an intense, crazy scene. Like there's just some really great acting, some great storytelling, some great action, and just an overall wonderful experience in filmmaking. The action is really intense and it's very visceral. It doesn't shy away from the ugliness of it. He created this sort of grimy action flick, and it feels like an indie film, so it feels very, very original, very fresh. This movie is great. I really recommend it. I think people are going to have a great time. I know I did, and rewatching it now after years, you know, I saw it when I was like 12 or 13, and I really liked it then. Thought it was kind of messed up, but really liked it. And now seeing it a lot older, it still has a really good kick to it. And my wife, who saw it for the first time recently, really loved it as well. So overall, I'm going to give Léon the Professional an A. doesn't quite hit the best of the best, top of the class, but it's so close. Matilda and Léon, I think that's a little bizarre. It kind of turns you off a little bit. In 2020, I felt like, no, like this is bizarre. It feels like Roman Polanski awkward, weird. Yeah, so it's not quite the best, but it does receive an A, a grade of an A, because it is a spectacular film. Comment if you want to, if you agree with me. If you don't, that's okay. If you think this film is a piece of trash, great. Let me know. Thanks so much, guys. If you like this, hit like and click subscribe. Thank you for watching Mr. Teach Film Preach, and as always, let's get taught.